The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Now, back to your turn on 1330 WEBY, Northwest Florida's talk radio. The phone lines are open, so call in and join the conversation at 623-1330.
Aren't you glad that you patiently waited? Carl is back. He is in the Oval Office of Gulf Coast Talk Radio, and you are with him. Freedom Friday with Carl Gallops.
All right. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back, America. Yes, it is Freedom Friday, and Brandon Gallops is my co-host, and my guest this afternoon is Mike Zullo, the lead investigator. So, Brandon, before I get Mike in here, so you're on Dr. Conspiracy's website right now dealing with his software, and you're making, what are you making? What are you doing there?
Absolutely. Right now, I am in the process of creating a birth certificate for Mike Zullo proclaiming he was born in Kenya.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, there you go, Mike. You should have never told us about this website. You're
the worst thing I ever did.
That's it. You're going to get a birth certificate proclaiming that you are from Kenya, and it's going to be certified by Dr. Conspiracy himself.
With a half-brother named Malik.
Mike Zullo, with a half-brother named Malik. Mike Zullo, how weird is this that this guy who identifies himself as Dr. Conspiracy, we know his name is Kevin Davidson, but he designs and invents software to make digital birth certificates, and he's now connected up and hooked up. He's now a navigator for the Obamacare, and he's one of the top promoters that Obama's birth certificate is completely legitimate.
Carl, let me correct something. Dr. Conspiracy, I know these names get confusing.
Yes, they do.
He is not a navigator. That is P.J. Fox.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I've got these notes here. You're right. It's conspiracy. Okay, go ahead. Straighten that out.
Well, it actually gets a little worse than that. It's from my perspective on trusting any information trying to be forcibly sent into the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Dr. Conspiracy on certain posts has made claims that he has no connection to anyone in Hawaii. He doesn't know anybody in the Department of Health.
Right.
But we found him participating in the same vital statistics organizations that Mr. Onaka has when Mr. Onaka was, in fact, president
of
those organizations. And that organization was dealing with vital statistics fraud and keeping records safe.
Oh, my gosh.
So there's connections there. And this is why I kept saying, and this isn't the only thing, and this is only the surface. There are connections there. He was part of a corporation. I believe it's NetSmart. I believe they sold software to the state of Hawaii for about $500,000.
Good gracious.
While he was, I believe, president or vice president of that corporation or part of that corporation. Now, he claims he was never vice president of anything, but yet you can find documentation where he clearly is.
Yeah. So that's what one of the things you've been talking about when you said this goes way beyond the birth certificate. I mean, it goes to connections and lies and cover-ups and good gracious.
Well, you've got connections there. You got connections to the governor of Hawaii, not from conspiracy, but you have connections there. You have a lot of connections.
Yeah.
And, it's becoming very evident to us that this is for lack of a better word, an orchestrated effort.
Right. I tell you what. We've got 40 minutes, more with you, and just a couple timeouts. So let's do this. Let's go straight to the phone lines because we have people who want to talk to you. Dan, thank you so much, and welcome to Freedom Friday. Where are you calling from? Along the Gulf Coast, or are you from out of this area? Where are you calling from, Dan?
Way on the left coast, Los Angeles.
Oh, you're calling from Los Angeles. Well, God bless you. I'm sorry we kept you so long. You have a question for Lieutenant Zullo, Mike Zullo?
Yes, I do. Well, it's more of a thank you and in appreciation. Incredible amount of patience. I have a call waiting beep. Excuse me.
That's okay.
I'll ignore it. And
thank you,
Mr. Zullo. I want to say there's few people that I admire as much as you. I put on the second video bashing the long-form birth certificate on the very same day that Obama made his announcement. About 3 hours later. I don't want to give a reference. I'm not here to plug me, but I saw the obvious fraud as a graphics person within hours, and I went online to show it was a cut-and-paste job. There was no doubt about this, and I was shocked in the long term how nobody picked up the ball on this and how it got shut down. You mentioned this once, within a day, and I still to this day I'm incredulous about how come there isn't thousands of graphics people at least as competent as me that know for an absolute certainty it's a fraud, and very obviously so.
Well, thank you so much, Dan. I'm going to put you on hold so you can continue to listen, and I don't know if you're listening on the Internet or what, but thank you so much for listening, and thanks for calling, Dan. Mike, you want to address that?
Well, it's a shock to everybody, but let me say something, Carl. We have been focused on this issue, and, your listeners, everybody is so intently focused on the birth certificate. And I just really want to make it clear, the birth certificate, as it's in the form that it is now, a PDF file,
right,
is absolutely of no evidentiary value.
Right. It's useless. You can't take it anywhere and do anything with it. Yeah.
It is useless, and it doesn't really matter to an extent other than from a conspiratorial standpoint in the commission of felonies. Right. It doesn't matter about all these anomalies because this thing has no evidentiary value.
Right. Right.
It's nothing. It is absolutely nothing, and the American people were shown absolutely nothing.
Right. Yet people still hang their whole identification of this man on that birth certificate that means absolutely nothing.
That's 100% true. It is, and that's what it was designed to do.
Yeah.
And, you could almost look at it in a sense of a nice big piece of propaganda.
Yeah.
You keep saying the lie, showing the lie enough times, and the masses, which is what they were counting on, will just buy it.
Will just buy the lie. Mike Zullo, will you please hang over for a little bit longer?
Sure.
Okay, good. We're going to take a time out, folks. We're at the bottom of the hour. Mike Zullo will be with us for the next segment. My co-host this afternoon, Brandon Gallups, Mallory Bardwell, your world famous.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.